Downtown in the dark.
As long as the lights go out.
So what can we learn from this short-lived outage?
Maybe we're not as organized and as prepared as we think we are.
Tonight, KIRO 7 investigates how prepared the city is in case of a true disaster. Today's power outage only lasted about an hour.
But in a real-world disaster, we could be without power for a week, even longer. KIRO 7's Natasha Chen investigated what we can learn from this outage. She's live at FEMA Regional Headquarters in Bothell, where they are, in fact, planning for a drill. Natasha.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, there will be a team inside this building and agencies spread out throughout the Puget Sound to simulate what they would do in the case of a 9.0 magnitude earthquake. Now, today's power outage is not nearly as serious as that, but you can bet that in a bigger emergency, there will definitely be lack of power for days. When traffic lights went dark and elevators stood still, people in downtown Seattle froze.
More people are out here than I've ever seen. It's almost apocalyptic, really.
King County Courthouse employees spilled onto the sidewalks.
And security wasn't able to run things through. They had to actually hand look through everybody's bags. There was a lot of kind of chaos.
That chaotic reaction raised a red flag for Steve O'Donnell, CEO of American Preparedness. Do you think that went well today?
I don't know if it went badly, but it probably didn't go as well as it could have.
His company sells emergency kits and this special light that senses when there's a power outage and turns on.
And it has a first responder distress mode. And then if you hold the button down for a third time, it has an SOS mode. You can put it in the window to signal help.
People caught in the dark today had to climb down many flights of stairs, some of them even walking the whole way home.
Do they have a communication plan? Do they have a flashlight? Do they have comfortable shoes that they maybe could have to walk a further distance to get home from an alternate means?
We tracked down the FEMA Deputy Regional Administrator to see how today's response could apply to their drill in 2 weeks when they simulate a major earthquake like the Nisqually in 2001. In the big one, power will likely be out much longer than 60 minutes. Their challenge?
How do you get communication out and how do you assess the situation?
Especially when cell phone signals may be as jammed as the traffic on the street. FEMA wants you to designate a family member outside this area that you can text during an emergency. Texting will work better than calling. And they also say to keep 3 things handy: cash, water, and a communication device like a radio or cell phone. Live in Bothell, Natasha Chen, KIRO 7 News.
Back, Holdeman joins us. He is the director of the Center for Regional Disaster Resilience. His group consults with businesses and government agencies to prepare for emergencies like the one we saw today. So, Eric, is there anything that governments or utilities can do to prepare for an outage like this?
Well, one of the things I'm concerned about is just the status of all our infrastructure. Today we saw electrical, we've seen the roadways. When electrical fails, everything fails. You can't pump water. You certainly can't go up and down in an elevator. You can't communicate. So many of our phone systems have voice over IP. So everything basically stops. And we're becoming over-dependent on electrical power. So it's a key aspect of our modern society. As people went to lunch, they probably had a hard time finding a place to eat because people couldn't do transactions.
Yeah, and what we saw today was certainly that domino effect that you described. So do you believe that our power grid is pretty fragile then?
We talk about the aspect of this interdependencies. There's engineering associations that have given all of the United States critical infrastructure a grade of D, that's Delta, D+. Failing, and it's failing one piece at a time. And a lot of it is just a lack of redundancy. 86% of our critical infrastructure is in the private sector, unlike city light. And of course, you've got quarterly profits, you have shareholders, they have to return a profit to them. And so redundancy sometimes is seen as being duplication. And I would say sometimes when you hear people say that their organization is compliant, remember being compliant means doing only the minimum possible.
Minimum possible. Well, we hope that they're doing more than that now. Eric Holdeman, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.